Welcome to Tapped In. My name is Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about building bridges between Jiu-Jitsu gyms. I came up at a time where gyms did not associate with one another. They didn't spend a whole lot of time getting together, open mats and cross-training, and that did not exist for the most part 14 years ago. For me specifically, that didn't really exist 3 or 4 years ago. I came from a gym that was very almost secluded and on an island. We did not associate with other gyms in the area. We tended to view them as competition and almost threats to the group. So cross-training wasn't looked at favorably. Going over to other seminars wasn't looked at favorably. And being in San Diego, a hub for Jiu-Jitsu, it was not the greatest thing because there were times when people came by that were elite level and you wanted to learn from them. You wanted to be in the same room with them and pick their brain or see how they did a specific technique. And it was not looked at favorably to go. I tended to go regardless. And I remember Marcelo Garcia came down and I was like, I'm not missing that. That was the guy that I modeled so much of my game after when I was a white and blue belt and still do. I'm not missing that opportunity. So I went and got a little bit of shit for it, but I owned it and I didn't back off of it. I didn't feel like I was going to not go because of the feelings of what the gym or the owner felt at the time. I was going to go. My belief is that if we can have solid communication and trust between students and instructors, your students should be able to go wherever they want to go. They're adults, they're paying members. You don't get to dictate what they do or don't do. With that being said, I think that we need more community within our group. And specifically when you are a smaller gym, you may not have all the resources to bring in top-notch guys for seminars and whatnot. You may also be you don't have all the necessary knowledge inside of a gym, a smaller gym. If you're going to, say, one of the big ones, Legion or Alliance San Diego, like those are gyms that have top-notch instructors who have competed at nearly every level, gi, no gi, different personalities. They have different experiences. They have X amount of instructors inside the building at all. And you can cover a lot of what any one student might need. When you're a smaller gym and you have this one mat area and maybe 2 instructors, 3 instructors, some cases 1, like getting that depth of knowledge is going to be really hard with the limited instruction. You're not going to have enough instructors that know about everything to cover everything your students are going to potentially need or be interested in. So it's really important for us to kind of let go and let them venture out. What we can also do is just start creating connections within the community near you with other gyms. We got to stop looking at each other as rivals, build those allies, build those connections, and allow your students, recommend them. Hey, I have friends at Five Peaks, go over there for their open mat. Just get a bunch of looks. Understand what jiu-jitsu is going to feel like in slightly deeper waters or different waters. Hey, I got a friend that is at Legion. There's a women's class there. Go. Like, I may not be able to provide everything that you need, but I can at least get you in contact with the gyms in the area that would allow you to come visit. Free in some cases or a small fee, whatever it might be. My belief is we really got to get away from this rival gym mentality or in this scarcity mindset. Fear that students are going to jump ship, which then leads us to kind of that toxic loyalty, instructors who view other gyms as enemies, how we're going to be worried that it's going to hurt our brand or hurt our students. That's a legitimate fear that our students are going to get hurt. They can get hurt in your gym too. Like, go to gyms, build a coalition, and then send your students or suggest that your students go out to gyms that you know train safely. I get you don't want to come back with some weird skin disease or ailment. You don't want your students to get injured while they're out there. And those are legitimate fears to some extent. But don't feel like that should stop you from building these coalitions and allowing students to get the best out of Jiu-Jitsu. My personal belief is that cross training sharpens your skills, exposes blind spots. There are times when, for example, I go to Sunny Dojo to do a once a month workshop. I roll with the professor there. He does things that I don't feel or see at any other gym. I go to Five Peaks, another spot that I do a workshop at once a month, and Carlos has a deceptive guard. Pretty deceptive. One of the other professors, they'll grab your hand and you're not getting that hand back. He'll grab it in such a way where he starts flexing the inside of his thumb and like the heel of his thumb right into the web of your hand where your thumb and your pointer finger meet. And he's able to manipulate your wrist and your hand and your elbow in such a way that you're just like, what is going on here? Those are the things that I'm like, the blind spots that you never feel. So because you're in very similar waters, everyone's doing similar things, that when you get out there, you start feeling a different game, and sometimes you're a little lost. Sometimes you're like, what am I doing? Like, I went to Alliance a couple years back, and it was a purple belt there that did a lot of berimbolos. And I wouldn't say that he was better than me skill-wise. I was a black belt at the time. But he did such a game under that berimbolo and so sharp and timed so beautifully that I was always on defense. Once I got past it, things leveled out to what I felt like they should be. But because he kept the game right where he wanted it, I always felt like I was behind. Those are things that I didn't feel at the gym that I'm at. We don't got a whole lot of berimbolo specialists at Gracie La Mesa. We're a little older. We do have some people who play it, but not to that level. So this is what kind of helps in these cross-training events. You get to feel games that you will not feel at your gym. Every gym has an identity. Every instructor and their students have an identity. My students are known for pressure. They each all have their own game. Some of them are great at loop choke. Some of them are great at Kimura. Some are great at guillotines and anacondas and so on. And some of them love stand-up. So they all got their own unique, sharp tools and the things that they do really well. But overall, we're known for pressure. And we play a pressure game. Not everyone does that these days. And then I can see the night crew, and they're a little bit more developed when it comes to leg locks. They're great at no-gi. That's their preferred attire. And I can see that identity in them that's different than ours. But then the gym as a whole has its own identity. And each gym is going to have one. So it's important that when we are there, we understand that we all have identities. And in those identities, we have shortcomings. Like I said, I'm not a great leg lock person. I know the basics. I know enough to keep myself safe in most cases, but I'm not great at leg locks. So that's an element of my students' game that is not there. So go to the night crew. Like, go check out night people. They do more leg locks than I do. Go check out other gyms. If there's a seminar nearby, go do that. I suggest all these things for them to go to. Additionally, I think that this approach of building a coalition of gyms lets the coaches exchange ideas. I did a seminar on Sunday to raise money for Mateo's family. He had open heart surgery this month. And one of the things that I absolutely loved was looking over and seeing Professor Morgan from Sunny Dojo hanging out with Mark from Five Peaks, and they were exchanging ideas. I don't really remember what the technique was. They were kind of off in the distance. But that exchange is so beautiful and it's enriching, because there's times when I come in, I don't have an instructor, me personally. I have someone that awards me my belts. They don't live in town. It's not someone that I can readily go to regularly and then just pop in one night and be like, hey, can I come to class? I can drive out to Redlands if I want, but it's not the same thing. It's a drive. It's a commute. So when I come to these gyms that I'm teaching at now, I love it when I can pick their brain about either teaching or pick their brain about what they're going over that week, or they show me some technique that I hadn't seen, or we're rolling and I notice something that they're doing and I can pick their brain about that. That exchange of ideas is so massive, especially when you get to black belt. And at some gyms, you don't have a lot of peers, and not having the peers creates a little bit of a void. And so when you have these events or you have these outlets that you go to periodically, maybe you go once or twice a month, and you can just get feedback off of other people that are in your similar boat, rank, own gyms, whatnot. Same happened when I went to BJJ Mental Models camp. They had an owners meeting, and I'm not an owner, but I run a program. So I went, and it was fun watching the ideas bounce back and forth between these gym owners, and they're all dealing with similar things. Some of them had specific issues, and some of them just wanted ideas on how to tackle something. And it was a great 45 to an hour. Like, I was deep in whatever they were talking. I was trying to take it all in like a sponge. You can create that in these moments where you get together, maybe at an open mat, whether it's organically or specifically. Hey, I'm having these issues. Are you having these issues? How are you getting more students into the door? And I get it. We feel like we're sharing the same pot of money. And in some instances, maybe you're so close that it doesn't make sense to do this, and you are splitting resources. But in most instances, the gyms are so far apart that someone who is near Five Peaks isn't going to necessarily go to Sunny Dojo regularly. They might stop in to help or to train or to whatever, but they're not going to actively switch gyms. Students might be more connected to the art, in my opinion, when you can have these moments of taking away the artificial barriers and just letting people learn for the sake of learning. I now have students that will take private lessons with me that don't train at my gym, and I absolutely love it. I think it allows students to chase the art and not necessarily like the brand or the association, and they get to learn on a deeper level, or maybe just learn something that the gym itself doesn't necessarily cover or cover in the way that they're used to. I also think that it fosters a healthier view of jiu-jitsu, uh, without the ego and the brand and the flag uh, rhetoric. We're better than you. Who cares? Jiu-jitsu, no one has like secret techniques. We're all struggling to get better. And the same issues that one gym is having, chances are they're having at another gym. So it's all silly to me. So how you can create these bridges is completely up to you, and it's specific to what you're most comfortable with. Five Peaks had reached out to me, I want to say it was over a year ago, asking if I would be willing to teach. I was having some issues at the gym that I was at, and I had split from them. But I had gone over to Gracie La Mesa, which was like a sister gym at the time. And they asked, hey, if you need a spot, you can always come here. And it was a huge lifeline for me. I was incredibly grateful that they came out and they kind of reached out to me. I had not anticipated it. I did not know a lot of the gym. I remember going there during their grand opening, but I didn't really know that gym very well. And so then I started teaching there once a month. I might do a little bit more as my schedule gets freed up, but it's been a huge it's really allowed me to teach better and learn how to teach better, because they're different demographic, heavy military. Not that we aren't either, but it's just a different feel than Gracie La Mesa. And Sunny Dojo is a different feel than the other two. So it's allowed me to start coaching and teaching wider band of students and student types and personality types. But you can reach out to Jim, like I reached out to Sunny Dojo after teaching at Five Peaks for quite a bit. And I said, hey, I do a monthly workshop. If you're interested, I would love to come by, teach. I don't have to charge. I don't have to I just want you to see that I can actually teach. And if you're willing, we can make this a normal thing. And it worked out. And so it's been a really beneficial relationship, my opinion, for both of us. And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I look forward to each workshop that I do at both gyms. It's been rewarding. It's been a huge benefit for me personally. Again, I've said this before. I am a introvert. I keep to myself. I don't like attention on me, but when I'm teaching, it's very different. I still get nervous heading into some of these. I still get nervous just before class. So I love the feeling of teaching. I love teaching. You can always reach out to these gyms and, like I did, ask to be uh, a guest instructor. You can also reach out to the gyms and be like, hey, I know you guys are good at XYZ. Would you mind if one of your instructors came over and taught a guest class, taught a seminar? We'll pay you whatever that agreement might look like. But I think that also builds a big community. You're going out on a limb and admitting there's an aspect of what you teach that maybe doesn't get the attention, or you don't know the in and out of. So then when you reach out to this other gym, you're like, hey, do you guys mind bringing an instructor over? Maybe we do the same for you. Maybe we start setting up our gym open mats every month. We switch. You can do things like in-houses with some of the gyms in the area. Make sure that it's completely friendly, no rivalry, no ego. And it just allows your students to build a bit more experience without having to pay $80+ for a match at a competition that's maybe too big for them at that moment. All these things are huge. It creates growth, partnership. You understand that these artificial barriers, again, don't really matter. Celebrate each other's wins. I love it when I can see that Gracie La Mesa has posted something and then Sunny Dojo likes it, or Five Peaks likes it, vice versa. Because again, it's taking away that ego. It's celebrating the things that we're doing really well, the things we're happy about. And it's not this weird, unhealthy gym rivalry. If there is drama at some point, sometimes people get a little angry about one thing or another. Handle it privately. Don't handle it on social media. Don't handle it in front of the students. Handle everything privately. I'm not saying there ever has been, but I could imagine someone maybe going a little too hard on someone else and not understanding the culture of one gym versus another. So like I have my students train a little harder from time to time, and I understand that that's not the energy that you may want to bring to another gym. So I tell them match the energy that you're getting. If they're going lighter, match that. If that specific student wants to go a little harder, match that. Be respectful. Don't hurt anybody. And my name is on the line here. So represent me. And I don't mean win. I mean be kind and address the things that are going to happen. These coalitions are going to be massive for you. You can rely on each other for things. You can there was a gym nearby. I can't remember the name. They had a fire and the gym was completely wrecked. And so we reached out to them and said, hey, if any of your students need a spot to stay or train at, and maybe they live in the area, work in the area, they're welcome to train here for free. And then a couple of other gyms started doing the very same thing. And those are the things that you get when you have these coalitions in place and these partnerships in place. They don't have to be official. They don't have to be on paper. They don't have to be financial. They don't have to be any of these things. But there's a healthy understanding of one another that when something happens, the doors can be open to you. When you have a charity event like the one that we had on Sunday, we had representatives from Gracie La Mesa. We had Sunny Dojo that came down. We held the event at Five Peaks, and it felt fantastic seeing all three gyms under the same roof pulling for the same thing. So I was incredibly proud. And these are the things that can happen when you have that community in place. So build it, put some time into it, understand that it's going to be beneficial for you, your students, everyone involved. Anyways, if you have any questions on this topic or anything else, you can reach out to me at DFM or dfmcoaching.com. Seminars, workshops, private lessons, I'm available for all of it. Semi-private lessons as well, like small group sessions. If you're interested in stuff like this and maybe a bit more in depth, I highly recommend BJJ Mental Models. Use code Figueroa-Martinez, all one word. First, Figueroa, and then Martinez, again, one word. Get a discount. It is by far the one thing that I use regularly. Their premium content is fantastic, and they have a great Discord. Thanks so much. Can't wait for the next one.